الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ومن آياته أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتذكرون صدق الله العظيم وقد قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا تزوج العبد فقد استكمل نصف الدين فليتق الله في نصف الباقي أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. My dear respected elders and brothers, we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has blessed us with this beautiful deen. We are all members of the ummah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. One of the great signs of that is Surah Jummah, where Allah Ta'ala addresses those of belief. Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu, idha nudiya lis-salati min yawmin jum'ah, fas'au ila dhikrillah wa dharul bay'. O you who believe, the call and address, the people who are being addressed are those who believe. When the call of prayer of the Jummah is set forward and is called out, then leave, fas'aw, go towards the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the khutbah, which will be coming up, and leave the bay, leave the business, or whatever else a person is mashghul and involved in and busy in. So because Allah ta'ala has addressed the people of Iman in this ayat, so therefore all of us here who have come, it's a sign that we are believers in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah Ta'ala give us the reality and the haqiqah of Iman and the deen. Frequenting the masjid itself is one of the signs of Iman, in which during the week, inshallah, not only the Jummah, but in the other salawat, the 5 salat, all the way from Fajr to Isha, we should make an effort to come to the masjid and frequent the masjid as much as we can. This is one of the signs of Iman as well, according to the ayat of Quran and the hadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, which we can talk about another time. Today I wanted to talk about one of the other signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and sign that we are believers in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that is the great communion of marriage in Islam, an-nikahu fil Islam, which is a very important subject, and obviously a half hour on Friday in Jummah, with tired minds coming from work and going back to work after this, and a busy Friday and a busy weekend ahead. Obviously, we cannot fulfill the rights of this subject, but just a couple of things which I feel are a problem in our communities and all over the world, and right now in the Islamic communities especially, with talaq, divorce, only going higher in numbers and rates, and the marriages are becoming worse, and the conditions of the marriage also in regards to domestic violence and arguing and fighting, and the in-laws and the outlaws and the against the law, whatever it may be. Everything is going on, and it's not all bad, but there are certain situations that we have to address, and certain things that we have to certainly look at, and small solutions where we are not tackling the whole problem, but we're just trying to do patchwork and trying to see that if we do these things, there's a chance for us, inshallah, that Allah Ta'ala will be able to make things easy for us and accept our marriages, and Allah Ta'ala will make our communion with our families a very fruitful one in this world and the hereafter. The first thing is the ayat which I recited. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala mentions that the nikah is actually one of the signs of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ, from the signs of Allah Ta'ala, أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُمْ مِنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا, that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has created from yourselves. Brothers can move up inshallah and come closer. A lot of brothers are outside still, so we can sit a little bit tighter inshallah and closer so the brothers can come in. So Allah Ta'ala says, An khalaqa lakum. Allah Ta'ala has created lakum, for your benefit, min anfusikum, from your own selves, azwaja. Allah Ta'ala has made wives for you, partners. Litaskunu ilayha, and the purpose of these partners and the creation of them is so that you may seek solace and peace through them. Yani when you get married, you may have a peaceful life with them. Sukunat, you can become peaceful. وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مُوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً, and Allah Ta'ala Himself has put in the hearts between the husband and wife mawadda, affection, warahma, and mercy. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ, verily in that there are very great signs, لِقَوْمِ يَتَذَكَّرُونَ, for those people who will ponder and they will think about how Allah Ta'ala has done this. So this is a sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which we can say also, and the ulama have mentioned as well, that a person who gets married and has the intention to get married and the desire and the shauq to get married, so that person actually, it is a sign that that person is a believer in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the nikah is one of the signs of deen, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ. And the shaitan, of course, his lifelong mission, up to the time when the sur, the horn will be blown, and the day of Qiyamah will come, until then he has a mission. And that mission is to get us away from the deen. Now, if shaitan whispers in our ear to leave deen and abandon it, of course, very quickly we would say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. The deen, we covet it in our heart, we love it, and it's not easy for shaitan to just give a clear da'wah and tell us, leave deen. We won't do it. There's too much binding. But what shaitan does is he uses different things. It could be the money, the riches. And one thing that he does is يَأْمُرُكُمْ بِالْفَحْشَةِ. The shaitan knows that if I get these people involved in lewd acts, az-zina, if they start getting involved in the fornication, and the girlfriend and boyfriend thing starts, or the eyes late at night are looking at the wrong things. If I get the people involved in this, then this is a step forward and a gradual process for that person to leave the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is what the shaitan does. يَعِدُكُمْ بِالْفَقْرِ وَيَأْمُرُكُمْ بِالْفَحْشَةِ. He tells you you're going to be poor, so therefore involve yourself in all types of activities of dunya before your money goes to waste and you'll be poor. So that will also keep a person away from the deen. And then in your free time, involve yourself in lewd and shameful deeds. So when a person does the nikah, he already now has taken a giant step in protecting himself. Allah Ta'ala Himself said, La taqrabu zina. Don't even get close to zina. Here Allah Ta'ala says, don't do it. That's of course well known and clear. But Allah Ta'ala is saying, La taqrabu zina. Don't even get close to any of the type of things which will lead you to fornication. Innahu kana fahisha. It is something which is very lewd and very evil. Wasa'a sabila, and it's a very evil path to take. The end of it is which could lead, like the ulama have said, could lead to kufr as well. And the stories are much, we don't have time, that those people that took the step towards fornication and zina, and it led to their kufr and their disbelief in Islam. May Allah Ta'ala protect us and our children as well. So the shaitan, if he has you in fahsha and he has you in lewd acts and he's gotten you involved in fornication, so according to the hadith of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, shaitan has gotten very close to getting his purpose. Rasulullah in the hadith of Bukhari has mentioned that when a fornicator fornicates, he will fornicate, but it will never be such that he's a mu'min at that time, he's a believer. La yazni zani hina yazni wa huwa mu'min. Rasulullah said, when the fornicator fornicates, then he's not a mu'min at that time. Many of the ulama have explained this and said, and go to the extent that at the time a person is doing zina and in fornication and is with his girlfriend or the girlfriend's with the boyfriend, unlawful relationship. So they have gone to the extent that the iman of that person leaves the body and is extended over that person's head. And that iman does not re-enter until that person stops fornicating and gets out of that environment. So we can only imagine the smirk on the face of shaitan, on that person who unfortunately dies in a state of fornication, where his iman is suspended over his head and it's not re-entering, and the door of the ruh shuts and he dies in that state. Only Allah Ta'ala knows the condition of that person. So if the shaitan gets us in that situation, he might be able to become successful. And of course, he loves it such that when a person passes away on kufr, because that person then will become the sahib and the friend and comrade of shaitan in the Jahannam, and he will join with him there. إِنَّمَا يَدْعُو حِزْبَهُ لِيَكُونَ مِنْ أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. Everybody has a purpose on why they do things. We have drug dealers in the street who just want people to buy their drugs so they can make money. They're crazy. If you talk to them and say, these people are dying, they don't even want to listen to you. They have a purpose. I must become a rich man. I don't care if my mother buys drugs for me. I'm going to sell it to her. Shaitan is crazy like this also. Majnoon. He's calling the people every day for one purpose. I'm going Jahannam, you have to go with me also. I'm going to gather as many people as I can, and they're going to go with me. What mazah, what type of enjoyment he'll get out of it? There is no enjoyment. That's just who he is. May Allah Ta'ala protect us from the shaitan. So, the first thing is the sign. It's a sign. When we have the nikah, and we marry, and we have a desire, some of our youth, they have a desire to get married. And as fathers and mothers, we should make sure that we do not turn them away. Maybe it's not the right time, that's in its place. But we should not, make the situation hard for them. If they want to get married, then basically they are saying indirectly that I don't want to be involved in zina. I don't want to fornicate. And we've already heard about how dangerous fornication can be. Allah Ta'ala in this ayat says that these women and the wives, they've been created min anfusikum, from your own selves. This is going back to Adam alayhi salam, according to Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, and the hadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. We know that the woman and the first lady who was ever created, Hawa, our mother, radiallahu anha, she was created from the crooked upper rib of Adam alayhi salam. From the hadith of Bukhari where Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam has said, إِنَّ الْمَرْأَةَ خُلِقَتْ مِنْ ضِلَعٍ. The lady, she has been created from the crooked rib. And in this ayat, Allah Ta'ala has said, min anfusikum. It's a very great sign for us, and it's what I want to emphasize on today, because all the aspects of nikah cannot be covered in 1/2 hour. That Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam in the hadith and the ayat of Quran here is indicating towards the haqiqat and the reality of the relationship between the woman and the man. Because Allah Ta'ala emphasizes many places that the lady's been created from you. And in hadith we find that where was the lady created from? In the hadith where I just mentioned, Rasulullah has said, it is from the rib. And the rib is crooked. That's why Rasulullah has mentioned in the same hadith, Istawsi bin nisa'i khayra. I am advising you in regards to ladies to be good to them. To be good to them. Because Allah Ta'ala, if we look at the relationship between man and woman, Allah Ta'ala has given us certain positions. We are at a time, of course, where the banner is all about equality. Even if it has to be sacrificing many norms in the society and natural aspects of life, still the banner will say equality, we don't care. Everything must be equal. Which of course in deen we know that this is an impossibility. There are certain places where we can be equal, and there's certain places where Allah Ta'ala gives fadila, and I will mention some of that inshallah in this talk. But the position of the man in Islam and in nikah, Allah Ta'ala has given him the position of leader, al-amir. الرجال قوامون على النساء. The men, they have been made stronger, and they have made the authorities over the women. They are the captain of the ship. They are the leader. They are the president. They are the khalifa. Whatever word you want to use, they are the amir and the leader of the relationship. Now, we all know that there's different types of leaders. There are some leaders who take their position of leadership and they find it to be a very amusing position. And when you go to his country and he's the president, you will see that the people live in metal sheds and they have nothing. And then there goes the president's house and it's 3 blocks long. Right? If anybody questions him, that person will be in trouble. He becomes what we call a dhalim, a jabir, an oppressor, a tyrant. By taking the position of leadership, if we are not careful, then we can inculcate in ourselves qualities which are wrong, and then we will become people who take advantage of our position, and we will become people who become completely blind to the hukuk and rights of others, and we will only be hungry on making our position stronger and stronger and stronger. The position of husband is the same way. If a man does not understand what rights are upon him and what he has to fulfill as leader of the household, then in his small little 1-bedroom apartment and his little family who has a wife and a couple of kids, he can become just like the tyrant of the biggest country in the world, or some of the greatest countries in the world, or some of the people in history who have become tyrants of their lands. It's very easy, because the position is like that. Who's going to question him? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about the different rights that a woman has on the man and the man has on a woman in the Quran, Allah ta'ala ends the ayat, وَكَانَ اللَّهُ عَلِيًّا كَبِيرًا. And the ulama of tafsir say that this is a sign for the men that Allah ta'ala is Ali. He is the one who's the highest. Kabira, He's the one who's the greatest. O husbands of Islam, men of Islam, don't think that there's no one over you who's watching you and who can question your authority and ask you about what you did. Allah Ta'ala is Aliyan, He's the most high and He's the most largest and greatest and enormous. So do not now, take advantage of your position. So here in Anfusikum, Allah Ta'ala has showed us the haqiqat and the reality of the man and also the reality of the woman. Because Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in tafsir of this ayat, Mufassir mentioned that Rasulullah has said that istawsu bin nisa'i khaira. I'm telling you men, all of you, be good to your wives. Be good to them. Why? The reality and the haqiqat of the lady is that she's been created from the crooked rib. Right? This is her makeup. And in dhahaba tuqimuhu, and if you start now trying to straighten it, if you have something crooked and you want to straighten it and make it exactly the way you want, kasartahu, you will break it. And if you leave it alone, it remains crooked. Then Rasulullah didn't explain much more. He just said, فَاسْتَوْسُوا بِالنِّسَاءِ خَيْرًا. So therefore be good to your wives. No matter what they are doing to you, no matter what they say to you, no matter what button they push, and they know exactly what to say to get you mad. A man can be in the masjid washing the pots after a great da'wat in the masjid. He's washing the pots and he's serving the food. Right? And people are saying things to him and he's making sabr and he's having patience. But when he goes home and the wife says that, I know you came from the supermarket right now, but I forgot tomatoes. Because that's the lady, right? She will never tell you the whole shopping list, but she will forget something, then you will come home and then you have to go again and get it, right? The whole world can curse you. And the whole world can throw rocks at you. And you'll confront it with a smile. But when the wife says that I forgot about the tomatoes, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We all know what happens then. The button, she knows how to push it. And you reminded her also that always when I go, make sure you know the whole shopping list. Make sure you write down everything. And daily you come back and they forgot something. You can't fix it. You are the leader. You have to have sabr. Allah has given you the power and given you ownership for a reason. Because you can handle that situation. Now if you're just going to lose yourself, then you're going to break it. And another hadith that comes, فَإِنَّ كَسْرَهَا طَلَاقَهَا Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. If you break it, the breaking of that rib and the breaking of your wife is talaq. You will divorce her then. So it's very important that we understand that the man's position is a position of leadership, but what are the qualities of that leader? Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has emphasized over and over the one word kareem. Be kind. Kindness. You'd be surprised what kindness can take you. Be kind. Right? When you go to these stores and you buy things and you are repeatedly going in there and spending more and more money, just look at the reason. There's kind workers in there. Right? When you work and you are getting trained, this is the word kindness. Be kind, smile. The shopper is always right. The da'wah for the man in his position is kareem. In Ruhul Ma'ani, under a certain ayat, the great Mufassir, Allama Alusi, Mahmud Baghdadi, rahimahullah, has mentioned a hadith which comes in Tirmidhi, where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned that ma akramahunna illa kareem. Nobody has ever honored a lady and been respectful and honored to them except for a kind man. وَمَا أَغْلَبَهُنَّ إِلَّا اللَّئِيمُ. And no man has ever overpowered the lady and become strong over her. No, he's the powerful man, which you'll get these type of domineering, right? He always wants to be in charge. Right? They had 10 men, they gathered one day, and the older man from the group told everybody that, listen, we're going to just do a little analysis of ourselves. All the men who wear the pants, who are the leaders of the house, go on one side, and all the other men who the lady is the one who is the leader in the house, go on one side. So there was 10 men there, so 9 of them went on the side where the lady is the leader, and 1 man went on the other side. So the man looked at him and said that, why are you on that side for? Why'd you come over there? Knowing that it must be the lady, must be, you don't run the house, your lady runs the house. So he told, why are you standing there? He told, my wife told me to stand here. She told me to stand here, that's why I'm here. So, أَغْلَبَهُنَّ, the only one who can overpower the wife is he who's la'im, a very wretched, mean, aggravated person who's cursing all the time, right? Showing his muscles, and he's screaming all the time. This is the person that overpowers the lady. But there's one problem. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam has said that يَغْلِبْنَ الْكَرِيمِ, the ladies, when they see a kind person, they become overpowering over the man. وَيَغْلِبُهُنَّ اللَّئِيمِ, and the person who is cursing and always so mean, he overpowers the ladies. So the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam then now makes a decision and says, إِنِّي أُحِبُّ أَنْ أَكُونَ كَرِيمًا مَغْلُوبًا. I want that I'm a kind man and that my wife is overpowering me. I don't want, وَإِنِّي لَا أُحِبُّ, and I don't want that I will be لَئِيمًا غَالِبًا, that I be a mean and wretched person, screaming and my wife is shivering when it's time to come home from work. And I'm ghalib and I'm always the one that she can't even say one word in front of me. This is not my sunnat. This is not the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And there are so many examples in the life of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There is one kitab, it's written, and its name is I'lamun Nisa. And it's been written by the great scholar Ibn Qayyim Jawziyah. And he gives one hadith in there, one qissa of Aisha radiallahu anha, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was on an expedition. He was traveling. And in this expedition, he happened to bring Aisha radiallahu anha, and also he brought Safiya, one of his other wives. And Safiya, of course, we know, Rasulullah married her when she was 17, and she was a Jewish lady before she married Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then Aslamat, she became Muslim. So what happened was the conveyance or the camel of Safiya, it was moving slowly, it was lagging behind. And the conveyance of Aisha radiallahu anha was moving quickly. So the caravan was being slowed down due to the slowness of the conveyance of Safiya. So Rasulullah stopped the caravan, it was causing a problem. The Sahaba said that, listen, we have to do something about this, Ya Rasulullah. So Rasulullah came out and said, listen, okay, I have these 2 caravans. We'll take some of the things of Safiya and we'll put it on the conveyance of Aisha radiallahu anha. She has a stronger camel. She's got the 4x4, stronger car. So we'll put it on there, and then we'll be able to move faster. That will lighten the burden on the camel of Safiya, and it'll be sorted out. Very simple, mashallah, a lot of hikmah. But Aisha looked. And she said, غَلَبَتْ هَذِهِ الْيَهُودِيَّةِ عَلَى رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. This Yahudi lady has again overpowered and won the heart of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They were co-wives, and co-wives, they're called dharra. And dharra in the Arabic language means taklif, herding. They're always trying to fight with each other. They were co-wives. So they would say these type of things. It's natural. They're sharing one man. So then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam looks and he smiles. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, the father-in-law, comes out. And he doesn't look at Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and say that, what type of son-in-law are you? But he looks at Aisha and says, how could you disrespect the Rasul of Allah and your husband? And he was about to hit her. Then Aisha radiallahu anha looks at Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and she asks him, are you a Nabi of Allah Ta'ala? Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, yes, I am a Nabi of Allah Ta'ala. فَهَلَّا عَدَلْتَ فَهَلَّا عَدَلْتَ. Why you are not fair with me? Why you are not fair with me? Abu Bakr's face becomes red. They have to hold him back. He's about to hit his daughter. For how could you say such a thing to the Prophet? The Prophet Muhammad sits back smiling and saying, don't worry, she's angry. When the lady is angry, she doesn't know what she say. He told them to go back. He carried on with it. Aisha, then she became calmer and the situation was okay. But look at Rasulullah. Imagine, the Nabi of Allah Ta'ala is able to have his wife. She has the audacity. She has the courage. And there must be a certain history that led to that, where Aisha knows that I can speak to my husband like this and I won't get talaqed and I won't get beaten. Because I always say, when we deal with nikah problems and things like this, I always say the argument of a husband and wife, and I'll end off on this, the argument of a husband and wife is proper and sahih and it's no problem and it's natural if the lady is not fearing one of two things. Either by arguing with the husband, she's not afraid that my husband will give me talaq, and second, she's not afraid that my husband will beat me. If she's arguing with the husband and she does not have this fear that my husband is going to scream out talaq or my husband is going to hit me, then this argument is fine. It's natural. It's what husbands and wives do. It's something that before they go to sleep at night, they'll sort it out. It'll be no problem. But the minute the arguments happen and the wife is shivering and she's shaking, maybe my husband's going to give me the talaq, or maybe he's going to hit me. Then this argument has become haram, and it's become an argument which is detrimental to the nikah, and it could end the nikah also and destroy the person's iman. We have no more time. Inshallah, next time I come, we'll talk about the other side as well, because not only the ladies, I talk to the men, the address will be to the ladies next time on how their mizaj and how their attitude has to be in nikah. It's a double-edged sword, not just the men, but the women who are under the men. What is their adab and what did Rasulullah emphasize to them? Inshallah, next time we'll speak about that. Jazakumullah khair wa akhir da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Also, before I forget, the tafsir program that we have every Friday, inshallah, will be after Maghrib today because the Isha is 8:45. So after Maghrib, which is 7:10, we'll carry on with our tafsir program, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله الذي خلق من الماء بشرا فجعله نسبا وصهرا وسلط على الخلق ميلان اضطرهم به إلى الحراثة وجبرا واستبقى به نسلهم قهرا وكسرا ثم عظم أمر الأنساب وجعل لها قدرا وحرم لسببها السفاح وبالغ في تقبيحه ردعا وزجرا وندب إلى النكاح وحث عليه استحبابا وأمرا ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله المبعوث بالإنذار وبشرى صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه صلاة لا يستطيع لها الحساب عدا ولا حصرا وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تعالى: ولقد أرسلنا رسلا من قبلك وجعلنا لهم أزواجا وذرية. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: يا معشر الشباب من استطاع منكم الباءة فليتزوج فإنه أغض للبصر وأحسن للفرج، ومن لم يستطع فعليه بالصوم فإنه له وجاء. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام: إن أعظم النكاح بركة أيسره مؤنة. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام: من ولد له ولد فليحسن اسمه وأدبه، فإذا بلغ فليزوجه، فإن بلغ ولم يزوج فأصاب إثما فإنما إثمه على أبيه. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. وأنكحوا الأيام منكم والصالحين من عبادكم وإمائكم إن يكونوا فقراء يغنهم الله من فضله والله واسع عليم. الحمد لله أستعينه وأستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا، ما يهدي الله فلا مضل له وما يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة. ما يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد، وما يعص الله ورسوله فإنه لا يضر إلا نفسه ولا يضر الله شيئا. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك، وصل على المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات، وبارك على محمد وأزواجه وذريته. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: أرحم أمتي بأمتي أبو بكر، وأشدهم في أمر الله عمر، وأصدقهم حياء عثمان، وأقضاهم علي، وفاطمة سيرة نساء الجنة، والحسن والحسين سيدا شباب أهل الجنة، وحمزة وصد الله وصد رسوله. اللهم اغفر للعباس وولده مغفرة ظاهرة وباطنة لا تغادر ذنبا، رضوان الله عليهم أجمعين. الله الله في أصحابي لا تتخذوهم غرضا من بعدي، فمن أحبهم فبحبي أحبهم، ومن أبغضهم فببغض أبغضهم، وخير أمتي قرني ثم الذين يلونهم ثم الذين يلونهم. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروني ولا تكفرون. أقيموا الصلاة.